You ever go up to someone on the street, like a random stranger, and just start talking to them as if you knew them for your entire life? Just for shits and giggles. It's all shits and giggles till someone giggles and shits. Yeah, no, I have, and it's definitely a fun experience. I kind of just did that on the podcast I just shot. I had a great conversation with the rapper, musical artist known as Systovis. This guy makes some pretty sick music, like sick in a like sick, bro, not sick as in a pandemic that's gonna stop the world for like 2 years. Anywho, we just dove down rabbit holes. I saw Bugs Bunny's ears, and I jumped down that bitch, and we ended up in China or something. So we had a great conversation, long story short, about music, about society, about two dudes in a closet. Yeah, I saw your ears perk up on that one. You right there. It's like Romper Room. Make sure you subscribe to Homeroom if you like my shit. Make sure you subscribe to my Instagram if you want to. And go check out Systovis because you need to. As always, be yourself and be better. Anti-Guru checking out. It's kind of funny because the first time I found you and then I started listening, and I love your shit, by the way. But
Thank you.
it was on a comment on a post by Chris Calico.
Oh, hell yeah.
Can we talk for a second about how drastically underrated that whole strange music family is?
Dude, like exceedingly underrated. I think, well, Chris now left Strange now,
Right.
but yeah, just in that whole, like the underground sound and, like Stevie Stone, Tech, Chris, JL, King ISO, they're all amazing. And they are just like a part of that Midwest underground sound that is, yeah, extremely underrated.
Right? I feel like especially Chris Calico is
Mhm.
at the top of that tier, like because he can do both that melodic straight singing. He could do a whole album
Yeah.
of just freaking singing like Adele, and then he could do an album of spitting with. He could keep up with Tech and Eminem. His verse on "Speed 'Em" was phenomenal.
Yeah. Yeah. For real.
I mean, it blows my mind. I mean, I got turned on to that whole scene originally, obviously starting with Tech Nine because a buddy sent me Worldwide Choppers for the first time, and it just
Oh, heck yeah.
melted my brain. How did you start hearing those guys?
Well, I'm actually from Missouri, so you know that, yeah, Tech Nine and everyone is based in the Midwest in Kansas City, Missouri.
Yeah.
So I live like just right across the way in St. Louis. So that's like Tech Nine, and that whole group is huge in where I'm from. So I grew up like loving them.
Did Tech Nine start that sound?
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah. He brought like his influences. I would say it was like ICP, and then or like he kind of started right at that era, and then any like of the Juggalo sound, which was kind of like a mixture of that rock and like heart and like the rap, kind of like the Beastie Boys and stuff. And so he like mixed all that together and like formed that, the amazing underground fast choppa sound.
It's such a crazy thing because it's almost like its whole entire genre of not just rap, of music in general.
Yeah,
You know?
it is.
It's more like an instrument than like a voice. It blows my mind every time I hear one of those guys go into it. And do you think, because this is a whole nother thing that I think is not an issue per se, but a prevalent part of the music industry now. Do you think lyricism and that the respect for spitting fast like that and coming up with the rhyme schemes and that complicated whole art side of things is being, I don't know, frowned upon or not
Not
promoted as
appreciated.
much? Yeah.
Yeah, I think, it's underrated and just unappreciated for because Tech Nine, he rhymes, him and Eminem, they rhyme with every syllable, like when they rhyme. And it's just it's not only like, it's not just rhyming words with words, because that's kind of how I started rapping, was rhyming words with words. and just, it would sound good, but I wasn't making sense. I would be like, butter, nutter, utter, like something like that. And it would sound cool fast. And, people would be like, man, he's a spitter. But, a true hip hop head or a true lyricist, whenever like they would hear me at the beginning of my career, they'd probably be like, yeah, he's got a dope flow and he can keep rhythm, but he's not meaning anything. Like he's not saying shit. So it's like, the fact that Eminem and like Tech Nine and like those people in strange music, the fact that they can spit fast but also tell a story and like stick to like an idea or theme is amazing, and people don't appreciate that in the industry. And it's honestly like it's upsetting, because the industry, the way it's going now, is people are liking that the mumble rapper, that just that sound that's not doesn't really require that much talent. Anybody can get into a booth and just say yeah, and put some auto tune to it, and people are going to love it because they're loving the beat. They're not loving the lyrics. Like it didn't really matter like who it could be, but they're loving the beat of it. And I trust me, I love those club bangers and all that too. I listen to that music too because it's a vibe. I dig it. But I also, when it comes to like hip hop and rap and everything, I love lyricism, and I think the industry is kind of just snuffing the lyricism out of it, and it's unfortunate.
Do you think that someone like, I'm trying to think of it. What's your opinion on someone like Kanye?
Oh, okay, Kanye. I dig his music, and I think he's also huge with lyrics. He loves lyricism. He can paint a picture with what he says. Away from his music, he's gonna do what he does for like publicity for him.
Just music wise, yeah.
Yeah. So music wise, I can respect Kanye for being the entrepreneur and artist, and him respecting lyricism. I like it, and he brings his own taste. Like he kind of does what Tech Nine did or does. You're seeing now Tech Nine, kind of pull in like the underground scene with like the dubstep.
Yeah.
And the EDM, you're seeing that a lot now with Tech, and that's awesome. And I love that. With Kanye, he's bringing in just that gospel sound with his, and also not only just the gospel, but just like that kind of indie music type feel. And he's putting, his crazy, like when him and Travis Scott get together, it's amazing. Because Travis Scott, he's all with that new EDM type stuff too, and that's just dope.
I mean, that's what I think. When you mention the new like club banger type music, I mean, you're right. It's good, and it's a vibe, and it's a mood, and people like those artists because they like those beats. But I really don't think those type of artists are going to be the ones that are remembered 5-10 years from now. Like, remember Lil Pump? What happened to that guy? Like, no one even. But a guy like Kanye, who, love him or hate him, every album he came out with was a completely different freaking.
Oh.
He went from sculpture to painting to then drawing to then, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, seriously. And that's what I can respect a lot about Kanye too, is his versatility. He's got different sounds with every single one of his albums that he puts out, and every album is unique in its own way, and it turns out to be a masterpiece. Like it's insane. Like Kanye, you like you said, the way from music, like, yeah, you can have your opinion about Kanye, but as an artist and like the way that his passion about music, it's you can't knock it for real. If you're a true musician and true appreciator of music, he's a genius. He is a genius.
As an artist yourself, how do you think they get to that masterpiece expert level? Do you think it's something genetic they're born with, or do you think it just comes from keep working harder and harder? How do you make a masterpiece?
I think honestly, in order to make a masterpiece, you shut off the rest of the world. You literally do what you want to do. You don't listen to what society tells you to do. You don't listen to the other music out there. You strictly do what you're doing and what you love to do. And then all that passion and emotion comes out of you into your music. And then you can tell your story, and then you can make your music how you want, because that's what Kanye did. I know that's what he did. he didn't care about what people thought about him. He still doesn't. And he didn't care about like what the media was saying about him. What he did is he went and just shut off the world for a bit, and he just made music, and he made dope music. And so if you start to like just do what you want to do and not care what people think about your music, but and also number one, importantly, make music for yourself, that's how you make masterpieces. Because when you start making music for yourself and put it out there for the world to like, but you're not asking people to like it, just seeing if they will, and they take it, you're going to build your fan base. You're going to build your following. Some people might even say it's a cult, you know, but like, yeah, once you start making music for yourself and just trying not to sound like anybody else but you, like that's what's the problem with the industry right now is everyone's doing what everyone else is already doing or already done. You know what I'm saying? Everyone's sounding the same. Little Baby, Little Durk, like Little Baby, he's huge, right? He's like one of the biggest rappers in like right now in the industry. But you see all of these newer rappers trying to be Little Baby. You're seeing all these new rappers coming up trying to be Dub Baby. You're seeing all these rappers coming up trying to do what all these other rappers in their time with them have already been doing or already done. It's just like, it's just be you, be original. And then that's when different genres can be created. Because I don't know if you noticed, like the rock genre has been almost completely ousted.
Yeah.
Like it's like, I mean, when's the last time you've gone to like a radio station that's like multi-genre or like today's hits? When's the last time you heard a rock song on there? It's been a long time. Yeah. All you hear is the pop rap, hip hop, R&B, or trap music on those top like today's hits. You don't hear any rock, and it's sad because I'm a huge fan of rock too. Yeah, but it's like it's like crazy how they killed it.
I mean, you're so right, because I mean, I'm the type of guy, and I don't know what other people's process is, but when I'm listening to music, when I find an artist that I like a song, I'm like, okay, I kind of like this guy. Let me listen to something else. And then I'll listen to one more thing. I'm like, okay. And if I like 3 songs hit for me, I'll go in and I'll add like every album they've made to my library. So when I'm on like a run, when I'm on a run or a bike ride or whatever I'm doing, I shuffle all my music, which is probably millions of hours of shit. And I'll hear new stuff and I'll hear random things come on. And I love listening to every single genre. There's at least one artist that I like. Every genre. Yeah. I like some country. I listen to a ton of classical. I listen to classic rock. I listen to all sorts of shit, because I mean, that's what I think made Kanye great. That's what I think, because he implemented all sorts of music into his music. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yes.
I think that's being him. That's being yourself. That's being, that's there's a difference. There's that one Lil Wayne song where I think it's the Dr. Carter or something, where he's the doctor and he goes and he says the difference between stealing someone's music and biting, right? Sampling.
Yeah.
And there is a big difference, and it may not be stealing right now what's happening, but it is just recycling sounds.
Yeah, exactly.
How do you want to break away from that?
So to break away from just recycling sounds, I would have to say, I don't know, just be bold and be daring to be different. That's what I'm doing. Like I love, I'm a lot like yourself. Like I love every single type of music, right? Like I was born like listening to 90s country, cause I'm in the Midwest.
Yeah.
And other than the 90s country, my mom and dad, really listened to like the 80s rock, like AC/DC and all this. And so that I had that influence. And then as I grew up, I was listening to, the radio station that played like Lil Wayne and all this. And that's when then I discovered Tech Nine and the underground sound when I was in high school. And then college came around. I got huge into the Memphis trap sound. Okay. And like I fell in love with like the Memphis trap beats, like, like Young Dolph and Key Glock and all them, and Moneybagg Yo, of course, he's like the #1 rapper right now. But it's just like I fell in love with that sound. So then I use all of those different influences and genres in my music. So that's why my next album coming out, it's called Armageddon, and that album is like a lot of hard trap beats. But what I do different, like I don't get on there like a like a Little Baby or a Little Durk or a spot 'em got 'em or anything like that, and get on there and just like yeah with a whole bunch of auto tune. I get on there and I sing like R&B riffs over it, and then I rap it like a breakneck speed, and so that's like it's so different. Like
Yeah.
yeah, so it's just like it's gonna be dope. Like when it comes out, it's like just hard hitting trap beats with 808s with a hard kick, and then I'm singing like R&B riffs over the hook, and then I rap really fast, and it's just like just right there you get R&B, the underground sound like Tech Nine, you get the melodic stuff that's in today, you get the hardcore hip hop that's like all about lyricism, because all my songs are like have lyrics to tell a story or connect and clever bars.
Yeah.
So it's like that's how I use my own just their influences, but it's my own sound. I'm daring to be different because granted in today's age, people are like look at me and be like, how in the world is this guy gonna do a Memphis trap beat? Like I probably don't look at it all, and that's another thing that's bad about the industry is it's all about looks. People like you would see someone and they wouldn't even believe him or be credible because like he doesn't look the part, and you have been that's how the industry has made it be, because the industry makes it seem like everybody's got to be rich and wear the Dolce and Gabbana and drive the Mercedes and all that stuff, and it's like this crazy. But when you sit down and think about it, I can make that same music that everyone else is making in a trailer somewhere out in the middle of a field. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like as long as I have the equipment to make it, I can do it. And it's just, it doesn't matter about where people come from, what people look like, or how much money they have. If they can make dope music, people should support dope music, And the industry has kind of made it seem like everything is impossible, and it's really not.
I mean, when you say daring to be different, it's a heavy hitting line, because on one side of the coin, what you're saying is what the industry promotes, what the top radio stations push, what the public image says they love is all the same. So as a rational human being, you'd think, well, if that's what everyone likes, I want to be like that. But it's the irrational human beings that go, fuck that, I'm going to do whatever I want. And then those are the people that, it's a guy like Twisted Insane. You know Twisted Insane?
Oh, yeah.
He's a guy that most people couldn't listen to more than 2 songs by him because you're so freaking overwhelmed by his sound of rapping. Yep. Right. It's like a machine gun. But his following is probably the tightest following ever, because all he's done is his own thing from the get-go. Yep.
That's exactly right.
And that's I've experienced that once, because I went to a Joyner Lucas concert when he was I love that guy. He's one of my favorite modern rappers. I went to a concert with him like 2 years after he dropped that album with the phone number on it. So he wasn't big yet, but he had the song with Tech. He had done his cypher and I went to this club in LA. There was 250 people there, man. And he was in the audience. I could have touched the guy. And it was a freaking, because everyone there knew every song and every lyric and every freaking thing. And it was this community. And that's what I love about music. But when you get this recycled sound or stuff that isn't original, you can hear it when someone drops it. When I listen to an album by you, you're not huge, but I listen to something by you and I go, this is different. This is unique. This is why you're on the show. When I listen to some of the kids from my school, no offense, you guys, I think it's cool that you're hustling and you're doing your shit, but it sounds like everything else. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah. What's your music making or songwriting process in order to be different?
Man, it's so crazy because people ask me this all the time. Yeah. And it's hard to answer because I don't know how to say it, but any beat that you could go on YouTube right now, like right in the middle of this meeting, pick out a beat, and I could have a song for you in 30 minutes on that beat. Like my mind is, it's undescribable. It's unexplainable. My mind, I can adapt to any type of music, and I can hear a vibe or something. I can create a vibe that easy, and like I can make an album in a day, I think. And yeah, it's it's crazy. It's crazy. Like I wish the world could like just see it or hear it. because what I could give just the tons of people on in this world with my music is just, it's never ending. It's limitless. Like I've had people tell me before that, they're convinced that I could forever write songs because I'll never run out of content to write about. And it's true because like, I don't think I have any of my songs, and all of the ones that I've made, both released and unreleased, have I ever like wrote about like the same, lines or same bars ever. They're all new. And but yeah, going back to your question, my writing process is if I hear a beat, a lot of the times actually, I was just having a conversation with another guy. I write before I hear a beat. Like I'll write about a topic. I don't even need a beat, but I'll make what I write just adapt to the beat. I'll make it flow. And it's like, people are like, you write your lyrics before you hear a beat, because most people hear a beat and they'll write to the beat, as they're listening. No, man, I'll write something and be like, all right, let's go. Give me a beat. And I'll give me a beat and I'll make it. And another weird thing about me is the way my mind works is I can be in mid flow and my flow will change. It's like on accident. Like I'll be like saying but, and then as I'm doing that, it'll go just like that. And it's crazy.
No, that
It's
makes
absolutely nuts.
that makes sense to me, man, because I mean, I'm not a rapper, but I love poetry and I love writing. So I've never really done it over a beat. All I've ever done it is off of the rhythm of my own head. So I would write these pretty complicated rhyme schemes, in my opinion, and I would go through them, but I would find this own beat and riff through my own like head. There's no beat that I'm actually going on. You know what I mean? And then yeah. How do you translate that though to a beat? Do you find a beat that matches that, or do you just pick a beat and then adapt it to the beat?
Yep, just adapt.
Damn,
it's crazy. It's like, yeah, it's unexplainable. Like, I don't know. It's like, I wish I was better at freestyling, because then people would be able to like just witness it like more, and like if they saw a video of me freestyling. But like I don't pride myself in freestyling, because like I said, I like when my lyrics make sense, and a lot of times when I freestyle, they don't make sense. They just rhyme together. So it's just like that's like one thing the one area I really want to work on, though, is my freestyling, because that's like a big debate. A big question is, does a successful rapper have to freestyle? Does a successful rapper have to write? And it's just like, that's been kind of like the ongoing war between writers versus freestylers. And I can freestyle, but it's just like, I like to, the pen is my best friend. Like, and when I write, I say some like crazy, like really cool stuff, and like really clever bars that make you have to like listen a second time.
It really is storytelling, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Telling your story through music. Do you think people forget that that's the purpose of music sometimes?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Because like you said, you're a big fan and an appreciator of poetry. That's what music is. It's poetry. And a poem tells a story. A poem tells a story or pushes an idea to accept, or it's poetry like excites the brain. It asks questions. Poetry is music. That's what all the things music does. And if you think about it, like songs, a lot of times are really hidden agendas, or the idea of pushing forth an idea. Because I mean, you think about all the questionable or controversial songs throughout musical history, that in a sense, those things we're doing was pushing, propaganda kind of. And in a sense, propaganda is just what an artist creating their story or creating what they believe in, and then just offering it to the world to accept it. And we kind of see that in the movie industry too. We see like all those different what's it called, apocalyptic movies and TV shows, and like the Hunger Games, and like all that, like that in a sense is somebody, the director or the writer of that movie or the movie series, pushing forth to Hollywood and the movie industry. This is what I think the world's turning into, or this is what I think could happen. And the movie industry took it and made it. And now guess what happened? All the humans in the world that watched Hunger Games knows what it could be like, you know? And so now that we've all watched that, now we can kind of all see where that could be headed, you know, stuff like that. So this is like, holy crap, because you start to see all this stuff and be like, oh, you kind of look around. And I'm not trying to be a conspiracy theorist by any means, but I'm just trying to say, like, when you've seen things like that, in a sense, it all boils down to that writer, you know, trying to push his idea or push his belief, or his imagination is literally in a movie telling you, hey, this is what I think could happen, or this is what I think is happening. And it's up to the audience whether to accept it as like a, you know, as, oh crap, you know, he's right, or to accept it as a conspiracy, or just be like, oh, that's all make believe. You know, you're gonna have everyone take it differently. But the fact that it's out there for the world to see is that's the writer won his job. He won because it's everyone has seen it.
What idea do you want to push with your music?
Oh, my idea, my brand represents fuck society.
What do you mean by that?
What I mean by that is do not ever stop what you believe to be true. Don't stop what you think is, or don't stop because someone told you that, you know, you shouldn't. Okay, take me for example. I'm not stopping because, say, my family wants me to stop because they want me to, you know, focus on a job that's going to bring in more money or use my college degree. I'm not going to stop because, like, you know, the world doesn't see me as a 26-year-old from the Midwest, St. Louis, Missouri, able to make the music that I do. I don't stop because, you know, people in my hometown, you know, or make like if they make fun of me, or like they don't believe that I can do it. I don't stop. Like, if any of those scenarios were to happen, I wouldn't stop because of that. You know, it's I make music to make music, and that's what my brand represents: is do what you love to do what you have a passion for, and also don't cut down anybody because they're different than you, and don't cut down anybody because, you know, of their religion, of their sex, of their gender, of their you know, skin color, of their financial status, you know, or just what they believe in. Like, if everyone would just learn to not care about what other people believe in, or care about what other people think about them, we would achieve, I honestly think we would achieve utopia. Because people, if you just do what you're doing and stay in your lane, but still appreciate everyone else around you, you know, but don't judge them. Like if you see like, now this is a good example. If you see a drug addict using drugs, but he's not hurting someone, you know, the only thing he's doing is possibly hurting himself, you know, physically, mentally, whatever. But as long as he's doing it by himself, you know, don't leave him alone. Like, if he's doing what he loves to do, right? Or he's doing what he thinks is an escape, right? So don't judge him for doing that. And as long as he's not hurting anyone else, don't stop him, you know? And you can suggest an idea, but don't force it upon him. You could be like, hey man, I think, you know, you should put the drug down, or I think maybe you should like look for another channel of, like, you know, getting over your problems. And he can accept them, and he couldn't, but then let that be that. And that's how I think everyone should view the world. Like, I hate the people that are like down people's throats because they want them to take their religion, or they want them to, you know, they want them to take the way they view the world. And, you know, you're wrong because this, you're wrong because that, when really no one's right. You know, no one's right in the world. Everyone, in a sense, is wrong until it's proven correct. And a lot of times, the stuff that we believe in hasn't been proved at all. It's all about faith and understanding and practice. The only thing that is true, you can say, I guess, would be science, because millions of scientists came together, you know, throughout time to prove certain things. But really, you know, what if, I was just thinking about this morning, what if all these scientists that say, you know, a certain topic or subject is the way it is, but what if that one person that figures out that that's wrong hasn't been around yet? You know?
Do you know what teapot atheism is?
I do not. No.
It's the idea that if I could just say, there might be a teapot floating right next to the sun, just spinning around there, but there's there's no way for us to ever really actually know. There's a teapot right next to the sun spinning there. So is there really that much of a point in worrying about it? And
dude, yeah.
I look at what you're saying right now, and it's we're so similar, because that's the whole reason I started this podcast. I call myself the anti-guru, because everybody nowadays is an expert. They're an expert in everything. They're too know-it-all to ask a question. They're too self-absorbed, because everyone that has a social media platform knows what's right. But what's right about that? It's right to you.
Exactly. Exactly.
How do we start coming back together again? How do we fix this, man?
Man, it's honestly, it's so hard, because I would have to say the number one thing that like ignites those people to think they're right and think that that's the way it has to go is I think it's the media. The media is the problem. The media pushes forth so many ideas and movements and different things, and they show us the same crap over and over, just so that the specific types of people get mad at other people for it. Like you take the Black Lives Matter, you take the police brutality, you take the abortion and Planned Parenthood and all this different stuff, and the children trafficking and all that and stuff. Like everything, like the one problem that should have been focused on was the children trafficking, and it was that was terrible. That was terrible, and it's still going on today. And why didn't we hear about it? Why is it hush hush? But like, why do people keep on like bringing up the things that trigger Americans? And just it's because the media wants everyone to get mad at each other. Because without people getting mad at each other, conflict, the news and media is boring. If we were just to run what's good every day, people would love it because they're seeing what's good every day. But there would be no want to come back to watch that, because it's just good stuff. The media has made human minds crave bad. They've made human minds crave what has gone wrong in the world. Because whenever you sit down and turn the TV on at dinner, or whenever you watch TV and you just watch like a news station news, just regular news, what is good on the app? What's good on that 30-minute segue of maybe one thing? And it's usually at the very end, like, all right, our good clip of the day. It's nothing really good at all until the end. Everything else is filled with this guy shot this guy. This girl got denied this insurance, and now she might die because she can't pay for this. This baseball team has gone into debt, and they're blaming the GM who got caught looking up pornography online. Something like that. It's always something bad. Yeah. It's always filled with stuff that's bad. It's never good.
And it makes us think that the world is if you just stayed inside and watched TV, it's kind of like the whole COVID situation. Not to get super political here, but I got into an argument with my marine biology teacher, because he was saying something. He made a comment, and I was like, well, that's if you think that all the numbers were an accurate representation. And he goes, oh, are you one of those people? I'm like, am I one of those people that think the idea of listing every single death that the person happened to have COVID and died from as a COVID death on a screen every single day was a bit of fear mongering? Yes, I'm one of those people. It just
same here.
We're doing that with not just COVID. We're doing that with all sorts of shit. And now, if I just walk outside, I go on a bike ride, I pop in my earbuds, I listen to some J. Cole, and I go on a bike ride. The world's not that bad of a place. I mean, yes, there's some bad shit going. There's a lot of bad shit going on, and I'm very privileged, and I understand that. But my only point is, if all you did was consume this information and not focus on living real life, you're only going to see negatives. When you live something, you can try to find the positives, right? I don't want to make it sound like my life is perfect, because I have a really good life, and I can admit that. But my only point is that if we only ingest content from other people, we forget that we're the main character.
Exactly. Yeah.
You have a line in the song Franco where you say something along the line of I label myself as insane until I recognized that everyone else was the same. What do you mean by that?
So, man, that's crazy that you find Franco. That is awesome. So Franklin County, Franco is like where I'm from, and when I said that line, what I meant was is like I've realized that like I've got a crazy like the way I see the world and my past experiences and everything that I thought about or think about is everyone else is the same way, just in their own little slight difference. Like, and because I'm a firm believer in us humans on this world are all the same person, are all the same conscious, just different, if that makes sense. We're all of the same conscious. We all think and we think and we maneuver and everything the same way, except we put our own take on it because of past experiences, So, because if you would take two babies and raise them up in separate worlds or separate areas of the world, of course they view the world different because that's how they're raised. But if you took them from day one, those two babies, if they could cognitively think at that time, they would see the world the same way because it takes past experiences, the way they see their mentors and their teachers and their parents. It's that's all how it is when we're born, we're all born viewing the world the same way. We have to, but until we learn from past experiences, until we learn from what teachers and people, put into our lives to view, we're in a sense of the same conscious, but we can put our own take on it just through like growing up. And then that's how people view the world through past experiences. But if you were to take the experience away and just sat someone in like a room, those two babies in a room for like as long as they could and only educated them like the same way, they would view and think the same way, because no matter what race they were or the gender, those two minds would think the same way if they were in that same room for 18 years of their life. So I'm a firm believer in that.
So to what degree do you blame somebody for their actions? Do you chalk it up as the way they were raised in their environment versus their own decisions?
Yeah, see, that's the tricky part. That's where it gets hard because it's like, obviously we say that, I would have done something differently than that guy right there. Like when we're watching a game or something, or, it's because I'm this type of person. But it's just like, when you think about it, what is the difference between, your experiences and the way you were raised and upbringing versus you just being different in the mind, And it's just like, that's a hard question to answer because I really have to say that I've got like, I'm trying to think of an example. I've got like a really, really crazy photographic memory.
Okay.
And that is something that my upbringing didn't bring about, right? Mm-hmm. That's something I was blessed with, I was born with. Mm-hmm. And because like I could look at a study guide for a test and I could take mental pictures. And then while I'm taking the test, I can go down that study guide and find the answer. It's crazy. And it's a crazy photographic memory that I've been blessed with. But it's just like, so that was obviously not learned, right? So when I think about it, that was given, to me as a blessing from the universe. Yeah. So it's just like, I don't know. And
totally,
that's another thing I've been getting real big into too, is the universe stuff, man. That's just, I don't know. It's crazy.
In what sense?
And like, I just keep on seeing these numbers, man. Like it's great, like the 111 and the 222 and the 333. Like, have you ever heard of those yet?
No.
Oh man, if you like just reading about just different signs from the universe and stuff and all that, and it's I've literally only been seeing like 111 or 1111, like just everything, and like on the clock, on the calendar, like online when I'm scrolling through something, it'd be 1111 or 101. I looked it up and it's that just means like something really big is like coming to change your life, and I can only think it's music.
I've never even heard of anything like this. Have I been getting sent signs? And I need to look into this, man.
Yeah. Like, have you ever heard of like 1111 Make a Wish?
Yes, yes, that I
Okay,
have.
so that's where that comes from. Like 1111 Make a Wish is because the 111 or 1111 represents the universe. If you're seeing those numbers, the universe is telling you get ready because your world's about ready to be rocked with something really awesome. And like, or not necessarily awesome, but it's going to change significantly, and you have to be ready for it. And
Do
it's
you
just like, it's crazy.
do you think that if people with different opinions, different views, different
Mhm.
outlooks, if they sat down in a room with each other and talked for an hour, if maybe even just a half hour, that a lot of their problems would be solved?
Dude, I think not, I don't know if all their problems would be solved, but they would get a lot of closure,
Hmm.
and they get a lot of like, uh, it would calm them down. It'd be a stress relieving 30 minutes because, unless like the two are polar opposites and they're at each other's necks. But
Hmm.
other than that, but yeah, I think that if someone were to just truly sit down with another person and talk about life, as long as they agreed before doing that, that they weren't going to get mad at each other, and they were just so that's hard to say because some people are completely competitive and stubborn, and they don't want to hear that.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I don't know. It's almost as if like the idea of utopia or the idea of anything remotely like to a civil society is almost impossible because it's just so many different types of people out
Yeah.
there in this world.
Yeah. I mean, because there's nothing, like you said, there's a lot that is based off of where you were raised, how you were
Mhm.
raised, what brought you up. And then there's also stuff like I have OCD, and I look at it like a superpower because the first, I mean, a couple years of my life it was hell. I mean, no one knows why a 4-year-old is having thoughts like the ones I was at, and there's no explanation for it. No one in my family's ever had it, or at least diagnosed. No one that I know, and there's no reasoning. Like I was having thoughts of things, like super explicit things that I'd never been exposed to ever. So how
Dang,
was I thinking of those things if I've never ever experienced it? Like
that's
that doesn't
true.
make any
Yeah.
it doesn't make any sense. So how we want to get along. It's like a coin toss with every single
Mhm.
thing. We all need to be more selfish because we all need to be focused on
Yes.
ourselves more. But at the same time, we also need to be more empathetic because we need to
Yep.
help understand other people.
Man, yeah, I'm the same way because I like to say the word is individualistic. People need to be more individualistic, which means like work on themselves. Like individualistic means to live your life like doing it for yourself and doing it helping yourself and not always have to get help from others, but do it like with an what maybe we could say an individualistic empathetic.
Okay. Okay.
Right? Yeah, an individualistic empathetic, like someone that loves to just focus on what they do, doing it for them, not hurting anybody else, and just like doing what they love. But also, if someone needs help, to just be able to realize that hey, they need help, and because I could have been there or I've been there too, you
Mm,
know. And I mean, that's the way I view the world. That's the person I am. I love everybody, but I love everybody, but I don't. Uh, what I'm trying to say is if you cross me wrong once, then I'm willing to forgive, but it's not easy for me to. But the second time, then like if you do that, then it's just like game over. But I will still never go out of my way to hurt that person that's done me wrong. You know, it's very rare. Like I don't like revenge. Not that I don't like revenge. I don't seek revenge. I don't hold grudges at all. And I also I don't judge. I have so many different people, so many different friend groups that are so different. I was that kid in high school that was friends with everybody. Like even the kid that was getting picked on, I was friends with the jock. I was friends with the person in drama class. I was friends with the person like literally like that was goth. I was the party thrower. I loved everybody, and I still do. You
mm,
know, it's just
yeah.
like, and like I still haven't changed from that. And I think I can't ever sit down and accept or try to find the answer of what makes people just hate. Like,
That's why
why?
that's why I get so frustrated at Instagram, because I feel like it's got so much potential, because if everyone actually just showcased a little bit about who they really were, they talked about,
Yeah,
if they put their picture up but underneath it talked about all their eating disorders that they've been through in their life in order to get to that picture that they just posted, or if they took a picture with their family but then they talk about how they didn't speak to their mother for 7 years before they took this photo, and finally I think we'd, when we're scrolling and we're reading these things, we go, oh shit, we're actually all pretty similar, we all go through our
yeah.
own shit. But instead we just post what we want other people to see, which
Mhm.
is a picture of me smiling, and then underneath it, the caption is emoji cool. Like, what does that do? That doesn't show me anything. Like, that doesn't help connect us. That just, it's like Tinder, but you're just getting catfished by all these people unless you
Oh,
actually put
dude.
yourself in your Tinder bio.
Dude, yeah. I mean, I can't ever use those apps ever because literally it's, and even if we're not being catfished, like nothing ever seems to come out of it. You know,
No.
it's like even if we match with like someone, and it's really them, the most that really comes out of it is like we talk and then that's it. So it's just like I haven't used those apps in God knows how long. So, but it's just like, yeah, that's. But you're absolutely right. People put things on social media to let people see what they like, what they want to portray. You know,
Mm.
that's why you just reminded me. One of my posts actually on my Instagram is me smiling, actually like right in this position in a chair, and my caption under it says, "Here's a picture of me. Very rare. I'm not wearing a hat, and I usually wear flat bills, and I'm smiling, and I hardly ever smile." I was straight up honest with it, you know. And then like that's what I am. Like I'm truthful and honest about it. Um, yeah, I just I don't know. It's just I agree with you that everybody should just be themselves and just quit judging others. You know, I
Yeah.
honestly think that if everyone else did that, if everyone else would just quit judging other people, uh, and would help, yeah, like be empathetic and would help others, you know, but at the same time of making sure that that person was themselves were better off, not better off than the other person, but like would be okay if they helped them with $10 or something, as long as they knew that they were secure, then go ahead and do it. You know, if I see a homeless person on the side of the road, almost 9 times out of 10, I'm giving that person money. The 1 time out of 10 that I'm not is because I myself am not, stable with my
Mm-hmm.
money,
Mm-hmm.
and I wish I could help them. But it's just like people look at me like my grandparents are like, how do you know that person was really homeless? How do you know he was a veteran?
It
I'm like,
doesn't
I don't.
matter.
Yeah, I was like, I
If
don't.
they're in a
I don't
position
know.
where they need to ask for money on this, that's how I look. Like, because oh man, we are fuck. Because I walked by and I was with somebody that shall not be named, but they immediately just shook their head and just kept walking. And I was like, dude, I don't have any cash on me, but why didn't you drop it? And he goes, or they go, they said, well, it's most likely their decisions that led into that spot. And I go, how can that be the first thing that runs through your head? Because you have
Yeah,
no idea what cards that person was dealt. And maybe if I'm not in a financially stable enough position at the time to drop $1 in their hat, well, then I'm sorry. But even if they are faking it, if they're out there on the side of the road peddling
they
for
need the
money,
money, obviously. Yeah.
they need it.
Hmm.
I, but judging, I think, is human nature, man. Isn't it human nature to, when you first see something, to think
Oh yeah.
whatever? I mean, this is one of the issues with that, I think, is why we have police brutality. I mean, I'm sure
Hmm.
some of them were just raised in a shitty situation, but I mean, if say you're a black police officer, okay, and you're in the the Midwest, but in an awful place in the Midwest, and everyone there
St.
that is a
Louis.
criminal is everyone there if it's a criminal is white, okay, and you might start to just think white people are more dangerous, and that's just
Yeah.
products of environment. That's just human nature of judging. So I don't know. I mean, I think I agree with you. I think judging is a problem, and it's a major issue. But I mean, can you really just turn it off?
I think that is only achieved if you turn off media. True story. Is because you could say, well, if you turn off media, then how would you get rid of the effect that your parents and your surroundings have on you? You can't, unless you just would completely exile yourself from your parents and all that. But it's not the same constant over and over and over power and strength that the media has, that your parents have. Like, because you can say, but my parents are over and over and over again going to keep on doing the same way or view the world the same way, and that's going to reflect on me. But you can't tell me that they do that as much as how you see it on TV. It's constantly drilled in your head, just drilled in your head over and over and over again. This propaganda or the bad events and the bad things that happen is drilled in your head over and over again. But like, if you were to get rid of that, yeah, sure, you'll have your parents or your friends around you viewing the world to influence you, but that's not as bad as what's on TV. And it's not at the rate that TV does, because the TV is pushing those propaganda and everything every day that you turn on the boob tube. Your mom and dad, you guys might just talk about groceries or what you guys just bought at the grocery store, or talk about, when grandma needs to be picked up from the dentist, something like that. But you don't talk about what's bad in the world like the TV does all the time. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. If we were to get rid of media, then the judging and the stereotypes would just decrease significantly. Well, stereotypes would just be completely gone.
But here's the thing. Where's the line of media? Where do you stop? Because like you said, every musical artist is kind of pushing their own agenda in there. So what is media versus in your eyes, at least?
That's a tricky question too, because really the media is, there's social media, the news networks, the music is media, and everything's media. But really there's 5 people that are in charge of all forms of media. Just 5 people, and I think they're all located in Silicon Valley, California. But those, in a sense, are 5 people that control what we hear and see, because they own.
What do you mean? What do you mean by that? There's 5 people that control all of media.
Like there's 5, really 5 people, 5 humans that control every form of media that we see and hear, because those 5 people own all the networks and all the different companies that own those different companies. And there's 2 main companies that own everything in this world, really, or in the United States at least. And that's BlackRock and Vanguard. Those 2 companies, they own everything, because they have the largest share, the largest hold, in almost every single company. And so you're telling me that the owner or the CEO of Vanguard and BlackRock, if it were you would want to push your initiative, right? In every single little company that you own. And I'm talking, they own everything from food to T-shirts to everything you can think of. There's a really good video on it on YouTube. You could look up. Gosh, what is his name? I can't think of his name. But if you look up, just type in on YouTube the 5 people that who control what we see and hear. He's a very famous author, and gosh, I can't think of his name. It's driving me nuts. But he explains it way better than I am, and he breaks it down. And then there's another video on YouTube that explains that better than I can about the Vanguard and BlackRock. But basically, the people that the CEOs and the owners of Facebook and all these big social medias, and then you get to BlackRock and Vanguard, who own those. It comes down to those 2 humans pushing forth what they want those little companies to share with the world. Because if you say, I didn't like riding horses, I didn't like rodeos, and I would say I was the owner of Vanguard and stuff, if I didn't like riding horses, Vanguard can instantly say, I don't like riding horses, so quit sharing that on any type of media. We need to cut that off. And that would happen. And all those companies would have to follow what they do, or they would have to break away and quit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So basically, when it all boils down to it, it's really scary. But the 5 or 2 or 7, how many people he said, there's a very select few, just a handful of people control what we see and hear. And that's the truth, because they control all the companies because they own them. It's nuts.
And this is why I think human interaction is the greatest thing ever. Like one-on-one. I love working in customer service just because I get to see people's faces and talk to different people, because it's like a buddy of mine that I was talking to a couple weeks ago. He was like, it's like you're going through the armory and you're just adding more ammunition to your toolkit every time you talk to somebody. Because now you're experiencing somebody else. And when you go forward, you can go, well, shit. That one person that I was talking to, I didn't even realize had dementia, but now I know that anyone out there might have a small case of dementia. So I'm going to keep that in my back brain with everything that I do. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that the polarization, in my opinion, is the biggest issue. Because like every single thing we've talked about on this episode has been, but there's another side to it. Like I love the idea of everyone, we're all pretty much the same at the core. But at the same time, I also love the agenda of everyone is unique and everyone should be doing their own thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's somewhere in the middle that we need to nestle in. So when someone's saying that they are right and they are the 100% factoid God machine spitting out whatever their agenda is, and they're only talking about one side and not acknowledging the other side, that's when we get into judgment. And that's when you get, you're wrong. Well, instead of, well, maybe there's another side to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hitting each other with the negativity.
Yeah.
it's these are complicated matters from two dudes just sitting in their closets. No.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
I do have one more question I want to hit you with.
Yeah.
The comment I actually responded to you on Chris Calico's post.
Oh yeah.
Was about stage fright. Why do you think we get so scared? Two people like you and you. I get very scared too, and I'm an actor. I don't know if you know. I do like theater.
Yeah,
I do. Yeah. So why do you think the two of us who both just talked about all this time about how we don't agree with judgment, we like to think of ourselves as in control of ourselves and we know what's going on and we don't really care what other people think. Why do we get so fucking nervous when we go on stage?
Right? Because I agree. Like I want to know why, because I don't, I'm pushing forward my agenda or my like how I represent, my brain represents of like, don't care what people think. But when you get nervous, obviously, isn't that caring what people think?
Right?
Yeah. So it's like, I don't know. I think that's honestly human nature. That might be that might be something that I might have just answered myself right there. Like in order to like not care about what people think, I don't know if that's possible because that might just be human nature.
That's what I'm saying. There's two sides to every single thing that we could possibly talk. And that's why whatever you say is always going to offend somebody.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm sure like when this airs or if this is airing now or whatever, like people that are watching it, there's probably two sides that one's either agreeing with me, one's hating me, or one's like, just be like, I don't know what the hell that kid's talking about.
They're gonna go, these fucking guys need to get out of their closets and go and get some sun or something. All right, man. I gotta say, I'm gonna listen to your new album when it drops. Make sure you let me know when it does, okay?
For sure.
I thank you so much for coming on the show. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, I had a blast.
Everybody watching, make sure you go subscribe. Do you have a YouTube channel?
Yeah, I do.
Plug your YouTube channel real quick.
Yeah, it's just Systovis, Systovis.
And then check out his Instagram, which I think is the same name.
Yep.
All right. And everyone, make sure you go out there and be yourself, but be better.